Johnny Depp was 61 when he finally opened up at the 2023 Cannes Film Festival. He dismissed all the negative rumors and confirmed what many people had suspected for years. His journey from being a Hollywood star, known worldwide as Jack Sparrow, to the center of a painful public scandal involving Amber Heard had not been easy. He had been through emotional battles, legal fights, and betrayal that left him deeply scarred. Now, he has chosen a different way of living. He has stepped away from the bright lights of fame and started a completely new chapter in his life, far from the chaos of Hollywood. Depp's choice to leave Hollywood wasn't made in a hurry. It came from a deep feeling of disappointment with the industry that once made him a superstar. That same industry later turned its back on him when he needed support the most. After being removed from big movie projects and losing roles that were closely tied to his identity, he realized he no longer belonged in the heart of American show business. In 2023, Depp officially left Los Angeles. He left behind not just a city but a way of life. He moved to the quiet countryside of Somerset, England, where he bought a large estate of more than 800,000 square meters. It was the beginning of a new life, one he chose without making a big public announcement. There was no farewell party, no emotional goodbye video. He simply disappeared from media headlines. Even a year after his move, no one had seen him at any red carpet event, no matter how famous he used to be. In an interview with a local newspaper, he said something that struck people deeply: "I don't live to be noticed anymore. I live to be at peace." That simple sentence quickly spread online. People realized he wasn't running from anything, he was just choosing peace over drama. This didn't mean that Depp had completely vanished from the public eye. He wasn't hiding. He was just reshaping how the world saw him. Instead of acting in movies, he turned to art. His paintings, mostly emotional portraits and surreal images, sold for millions of dollars. Some limited edition prints were sold for as much as $50,000 and were often gone even before they were officially released. In 2024, he displayed his work at a major art exhibition in New York titled A Bunch of Stuff. Hundreds of people came to see it, including longtime fans and professional art collectors. Depp said painting helped him express emotions he couldn't put into words, proving that his creativity was still alive, just flowing in a different direction. Music also became a big part of his new life. Depp played in the rock band Hollywood Vampires, alongside famous musicians like Alice Cooper and Joe Perry. The group performed across Europe, including big festivals in Germany and France. Depp played guitar and did backing vocals. Audiences loved seeing him live again. Even when he wasn't the center of attention, he brought a strong energy to the stage. One of their songs, a cover of David Bowie's Heroes, carried a strong emotional weight when Depp performed it. You could feel that it came from someone who had lived through emotional battles and still stood tall. Even though he's no longer acting in films, Depp remains one of the most powerful brand ambassadors in the world. His face is still used in advertising campaigns, especially for the Dior Sauvage fragrance line. Despite stepping away from the camera, the fragrance sold in record numbers. All of the ads used old footage of Depp. He didn't even have to show up to film anything new. His name and image were enough. In 2024, Dior not only renewed his contract but also gave him a bigger presence at fashion events in Paris. Wherever he went, people treated him like a cultural icon. One media executive said something very telling: "Depp doesn't need Hollywood anymore, and that's what makes Hollywood nervous." From Hollywood's side, Depp has become almost untouchable. Big studios like Marvel, Warner Brothers, and Netflix have reportedly reached out to him with offers, but he has turned them all down. Famous directors who used to work with him, like Tim Burton and Terry Gilliam, have also tried to contact him but haven't heard back. According to someone close to him, Depp is no longer interested in being remembered for a single movie role. He's no longer chasing fame. He's just trying to live life on his own terms. Every month, he still gets offers for new projects, but he rarely answers any of them. In 2024, he refused to attend all three major film festivals, Venice, Cannes, and Berlin, even though his name still appeared on Variety's list of the most influential people in entertainment. Even without making a new movie or appearing at public events, Johnny Depp remains a name that people talk about every single day. Whether he decides to come back or not, it's clear that if he does, it won't be in a small or quiet way. Because deep down, behind his calm appearance, are wounds that haven't healed completely. The court trial with Amber Heard may have ended in 2022, but its shadow still follows him. It still lives in his memories, and on the covers of magazines he no longer reads. The pain started years earlier. In May 2016, Amber Heard filed for divorce after only 15 months of marriage. At the same time, she accused Depp of abuse and released a photo showing bruises on her face. The news quickly spread all over the world. Depp didn't respond right away. That silence worked against him. Public opinion turned against him almost overnight. Media outlets around the globe called him an abuser. Human rights groups condemned him. Online users called for a complete boycott. Within weeks, Disney cut ties with him and announced that Jack Sparrow, the character Depp had made iconic, would no longer be part of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Warner Brothers then made him step down from his role as Gellert Grindelwald in the Fantastic Beasts series. One after another, advertising campaigns and endorsements dropped him. In 2018, another blow came when a British newspaper, The Sun, called him a wife-beater. Depp sued them, but he lost the case in 2020, which made things even worse for his reputation. Tabloids continued to publish stories about him, painting him as a washed-up actor and alcoholic, often using sources that were not even verified. During this time, Depp stopped doing interviews and stayed away from cameras. People close to him said he felt deeply hurt and betrayed. The same Hollywood that once celebrated him was now treating him like a problem. Studios didn't even wait to check if the accusations were true before cutting him off. It seemed like his career had hit rock bottom. But then, in early 2020, something changed everything. A private audio recording was leaked to the public. In it, Amber Heard could be heard admitting that she had hit Depp. She even made fun of him for reacting to the abuse, saying, "I slapped you, so what? You're not a baby." This recording quickly spread on social media and made many people question the story they had been told before. The hashtag Justice for Johnny Depp went viral. People began to look at Depp not as a villain, but as someone who had been wronged. Fans who loved him for characters like Jack Sparrow started standing up for him. More and more people came forward with new evidence. Others who had worked with him said he was kind, respectful, and deeply professional. Gradually, public opinion started to shift in his favor. In 2022, the defamation trial between Depp and Heard in Virginia became one of the most watched events online. Millions tuned in daily to hear the testimonies. The jury eventually ruled in Depp's favor, confirming that Heard's accusations had caused real harm to his reputation. Even though some damages were also awarded to Heard, it was a major turning point. It was more than a legal win, it was personal redemption. But even after this public victory, Depp didn't return to Hollywood. Instead of rushing back into films, he focused on art, music, and his own well-being. He no longer needed the approval of Hollywood producers or movie critics. He had found a way to exist without their help. In fact, his absence made people even more interested in him. Fans visited his art shows. His music tours sold out. And brands still competed to work with him. Today, Johnny Depp continues to live in the English countryside, far from paparazzi and bright lights. He spends time painting, playing music, and enjoying a quiet life. He doesn't give many interviews, and he rarely posts online. But his name is still powerful. It still matters. He has become something more than a movie star. He has become a symbol of survival, of rising again after being broken down. Even though the scars of the past are still there, Johnny Depp has taken back control of his life. Whether he ever acts in another movie again is not the question anymore. What matters is that he found peace on his own terms, without needing to please anyone. That's the story the world is now beginning to understand, not just of an actor, but of a man who walked through fire and came out the other side stronger and freer than ever before. Johnny Depp was once a man admired around the world, famous for his unique acting and his unforgettable role as Jack Sparrow. But his life took a painful turn when he became the center of a highly public and emotional scandal involving actress Amber Heard. For years, headlines focused on accusations, and many people believed what they saw in the media. But with time, things began to change. A new side of the story slowly came to light, and more people started to question what was actually true. Some began to wonder if Johnny Depp had been falsely accused, and this shift in public opinion marked the start of a completely new chapter in his life. In early 2022, Johnny Depp filed a defamation lawsuit against Amber Heard in Virginia. The lawsuit was based on an opinion piece she wrote for The Washington Post. In the article, Heard described herself as a public figure representing domestic abuse. She never directly named Depp, but he believed the article had clearly damaged his image and hurt both his personal and professional life. Depp denied all accusations of abuse and claimed that, in truth, he was the one who had been emotionally abused during their relationship. The trial lasted for 6 intense weeks and was broadcast live not just in the United States but around the world. People everywhere watched as both sides presented emotional evidence, including private messages, photos, and recordings. More than 100 hours of witness testimony were heard, and the court received hundreds of documents. Witnesses included former staff members and friends of the couple, many of whom described Amber Heard as controlling and aggressive. One shocking detail that grabbed the public's attention was the claim that Heard had defecated on Depp's bed out of spite. She denied it, blaming the couple's dog instead. The trial became more dramatic as Depp described moments of violence. He spoke about an incident where a glass bottle thrown at him caused the tip of his finger to be cut off. His doctor confirmed that the injury was severe, with the bone exposed. A bodyguard testified that he once saw Depp bleeding heavily, unable to speak, and clearly in shock. In 2022, the jury ruled mostly in favor of Depp. They ordered Heard to pay significant damages, although Depp was also required to pay a smaller amount for a statement made by his lawyer. The verdict not only cleared his name in the eyes of the law but also gave him a major win in the court of public opinion. Amber Heard later moved to Spain, hoping to get away from the constant media attention. Meanwhile, Depp received an outpouring of support from fans around the world. Social media was flooded with messages celebrating his victory. However, even with this legal win, Depp didn't feel completely healed. According to people close to him, he became very quiet after the trial. For 2 months, he barely spoke to anyone. In a private letter he shared with a friend, Depp wrote that he didn't fight this battle for revenge, he fought to survive. Though he was no longer seen as a disgraced celebrity, something inside him had changed forever. His trust in the justice system was shaken. The trial had left behind not just public attention but deep emotional scars. A French film director who met Depp after the trial said that he was polite and calm, but there was a hollow look in his eyes, as if a part of him had been left behind in that courtroom. Inside his quiet home in Somerset, England, Depp keeps all the documents from the trial locked in a special room. There are recordings, handwritten letters, text messages, medical files, everything carefully kept. Not because he can't move on, but because he refuses to forget. And in that silence, something new was slowly beginning to take shape. In 2023, Johnny Depp made a surprising return to the public eye at the Cannes Film Festival. His film, Jean du Barry, in which he played King Louis XV, was shown there. It was his first major role since the trial, and it was met with a 7-minute standing ovation. The crowd of critics and fans cheered not just for the movie but for Depp's courage to return. It was more than a career comeback, it was proof that many people still respected him, especially in Europe, where he had found support when Hollywood turned its back on him. Although the film received mixed reviews from critics, everyone agreed that Depp's performance was powerful, full of emotion, and deeply felt. The director, Mai Wen, explained that she didn't choose him because of his fame or the scandal, she chose him because no one else could bring the character to life the way he did. In 2025, Johnny Depp officially returned to Hollywood in the film Day Drinker, alongside Penelope Cruz and directed by Mark Webb. The movie featured Depp as a complex and troubled character, someone who felt like he was drifting through life. Director Mark Webb said he didn't want a movie star for the role, he wanted someone who carried real pain, and Depp was the only person who could deliver that kind of performance. Not long after, legendary director Terry Gilliam offered Depp the role of Satan in Carnival at the End of Days, a bold and artistic European film. Though Depp has not officially accepted the role, the news alone made waves in the film world. Gilliam said he chose Depp because he understands deep darkness but also has a calmness that balances it. These new roles from respected directors show that the film industry may finally be opening its doors to him again. Along with his return to acting, Johnny Depp also began focusing on a healthier lifestyle. Since 2023, he lost weight, improved his appearance, and left behind old habits that once led the media to call him reckless. A source close to him confirmed that he has been completely sober since late 2022. He changed his diet, started light morning exercises, and never went to rehab or hired a specialist. Everything changed quietly, on his own terms. A doctor in Somerset who regularly checks on him said that Depp's heart health is now stable, his liver is healthier, and there are no signs of slipping back into bad habits. Locals in Somerset say he's often seen walking in the mornings, reading quietly in his garden, or supporting small community projects like donating to the local library. These small acts show a new version of Depp, one who has moved away from wild parties and constant media drama. This physical transformation was matched by changes in his emotions and mindset. Depp no longer reacts with anger when reporters mention his past. At one event in France, when someone brought up Heard, Depp calmly replied that the chapter had passed and there was no point in looking back. Some people think he's pretending to act calm just to fix his image. But those who know him best say that's not true. Director Mark Webb once said that Johnny Depp isn't acting anymore. He simply doesn't have the energy to pretend. He is just being himself. Depp's change is also seen in the art he now creates. His recent paintings are no longer flashy or made for commercial success. Instead, they are dark, quiet, and filled with emotion. A private gallery in Germany bought an entire 12-piece collection he painted in 2024 and described them as the work of a man who had been through deep pain. His music, too, has changed. In a private recording, Depp is heard playing an acoustic guitar with no effects, whispering lines that sound like they're coming from a broken heart. During a rehearsal, he quietly said, "I don't have anything left to sing loudly about." Now, silence seems to be his new language. He has avoided public interviews, turned down offers for memoirs, and even rejected million-dollar deals from publishers who wanted him to tell his story. In a private letter to Terry Gilliam, Depp wrote, "I've lost every definition of who I was, and when there was nothing left, I began again with the smallest thing I could hold on to myself." People don't call him a superstar anymore. The European media describe him as someone walking between two worlds. One is the Hollywood that once loved him and later turned its back. The other is a quiet, personal space where he is trying to rebuild. He doesn't want to return to either world completely. Audiences who once knew Depp as a pirate or a strange character in a fantasy film now see a man who has truly changed. His journey is not just a return to the screen. It is the story of a person who survived great pain and found a new way to live. His new movie roles, his art exhibits, and his soft musical performances all show a freer, more honest version of Johnny Depp. He is no longer tied to Hollywood's rules. His healthier lifestyle, his dedication to personal growth, and the love he receives from his fans in Europe show that he has found new purpose in life. From his powerful return at Cannes in 2023 to his 2025 projects, Depp's journey is proof that a person can survive deep pain and come back even stronger. Many fans had once feared he would never be seen again. But now, they see an artist who is more alive than ever. His transformation may be quiet, but it is filled with meaning. It's the story of someone who walked through darkness and found his own light, not by seeking fame, but by finding peace within himself. No one can say how long this peaceful chapter will last. But one thing is certain, Johnny Depp is no longer the man he once was. And he doesn't want to go back. He isn't trying to be understood anymore. He has let go of that need. He doesn't fear being misunderstood either. His silence says more than words ever could. This is not a comeback story. This is the survival story of a man who faced a storm that had no name and came out of it changed forever. If you believe this journey matters, if it has touched you in any way, then leave a comment, share the story, and follow the channel. Because sometimes the most powerful message is not the one shouted loudest, but the one that quietly spreads and stays in our hearts. Thanks for watching. Keep it and stay tuned. Like and subscribe our channel. Have a good day.